Remember to hit that subscribe button.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? It's the host of Against the Grain Sports, Jody Coleman. We're here with
Gerard McCain.
Sports Our Way. Hey, today we're talking about the Carson Wentz trade. It was inevitable that this was going to happen after he had a basically terrible season this year, and he was replaced by Jalen Hurts with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he landed in Indianapolis. He's back with Frank Reich, who was the offensive coordinator when he had his best season. He was traded basically for a third-round pick this year and a conditional second-round pick, potentially can be a first-round pick depending on how good Indianapolis do next year. What do you feel? Give me your thought process on that trade.
I think for the Colts, man, it was a win-win situation because anytime you got an offensive coordinator who is familiar with a certain quarterback or even certain offensive players, period,
Right.
most importantly the quarterback, you can implement things that you're comfortable with, that you're comfortable with doing, and with a quarterback that has already been proven to do what you need them to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was more of an insurance thing with the Indianapolis Colts, and we'll see how it works, man. I mean, those two guys won a Super Bowl together.
Yeah, but he wasn't the starter when they did it.
No, he wasn't,
But he was a big part of getting them to, because I think at the time he went out, he got hurt in week 13. I think that was 11-2 when he went out. But my thought process is, are there any winners in this trade? Because the Indianapolis Colts only had to give up a third and a second rounder, but they took on that huge contract of Carson Wentz.
But who is the face of the Indianapolis Colts right now?
You got a point.
Who is the face of the Indianapolis Colts? Like, since Tim Couch left, you haven't had a quarterback conversation about the Indianapolis Colts, have you?
No, you're talking about Andrew Luck.
Well, I'm sorry, Andrew Luck. You haven't had a conversation about, the Indianapolis Colts and a great quarterback.
And they went and had Phillip Rivers, who retired, which he was already on his last leg. But
He couldn't even win in San Diego, so.
Yeah, he messed up, and it was so bad they changed to LA after he left. But the thing, this is the thing. I think both teams basically there was no winner. I think this was a stalemate because Philadelphia got cap relief. Now they are able to go and sign players. That's the reason why I think Carson Wentz struggled, because they couldn't put anything around him because he signed that big contract.
Right.
So now he goes to Indianapolis, who made the playoffs this year, have one of the best offensive lines. They have a decent running game and a decent wide receiver core, but their defense is lights out. I think if Carson Wentz goes in there and he actually just plays as a player management, and he manages the game and don't have to be the star, I think Indianapolis can do the same. But Philadelphia right now is in limbo, and they have nobody to blame but themselves.
I'm gonna kind of, correlate this with the NBA. We keep seeing quarterbacks recycle,
Right.
in the NFL that may or may not have had great success.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford.
Well, it's a little bit different with Matthew Stafford. I think when you play for the Detroit Lions, you just lucky to come out alive.
So now, I'm gonna throw out another name. Cam Newton.
Cam Newton he's to me, I don't think he's all the way healthy. Even though he played, I think when you
He doesn't have a job right now.
Well, he's not necessarily without a job because New England is still, flirting with bringing him back. But Cam Newton is not the same quarterback he was when he was playing with Carolina. I think when you had that foot injury, and then it takes away his ability to be athletic, because that's what basically he hung his hat on. He really wasn't that great of a pocket passer, and his claim to fame was running.
Okay, so tell me what's great about Carson Wentz.
Nothing. There's nothing great about Carson.
But he's got a big contract and he's still got a job.
But the thing about it is, Cam Newton had a big contract in Carolina. He don't have a job because of injury. And if Carson Wentz is not successful in Indianapolis, he won't have a job either. I'm just keeping it real. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that tried to have successful careers in other places. Andy Dalton, and they proved that Andy Dalton can't play football in this league anymore.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
can't. He can't. He went and had an opportunity with that great offense that they had in Dallas, and he couldn't get it done. It's a lot of quarterbacks that can't get it done. And the reason why they get recycled is because the quarterback position is a very difficult position to play, and you got to pick right. If you really think about it, there's going to be at least 15 different quarterbacks in different places this season alone.
Right.
That's amazing. That's almost half of the NFL. So what do you do?
So do the Indianapolis Colts still draft a quarterback?
If they're smart, I would, but I wouldn't necessarily take it with the first pick because now that because you actually putting a lot of money into Carson Wentz, you need to find out what you're going to get from him. Now you didn't give a lot away as far as draft compensation, but I think that you use that 21st pick and you go get him another offensive weapon because defensively they're good to go defensively. They probably got a top 5 defense, but now you got to put a few more weapons on the outside for Carson Wentz. And I think you're going to have to really lean on that offensive line and run the football in Indianapolis for them to be successful.
Let me ask you this. Does Carson Wentz's name put fans in the seat when fans are allowed to come back? I mean, fans are going to come back, period, because they've been away from the game so long. But if you are an Indianapolis resident, are you going to the game because Carson Wentz is your quarterback?
I think you got to go because of optimism, because of what they did with a quarterback that was over the hill in Phillip Rivers. So this is a little bit of an upgrade from him. I know it's not a lot because he really did. If you look at Carson Wentz's career, he had maybe one good season. He had a decent season last year, but it was nothing that moved the needle where he signed that major contract that he did. But I think they were anticipating him regaining that form when they won the Super Bowl the year that he led on, at least regular season wise. So if I'm a Colts fan, I do have a little bit of optimism because of the defense and because at least if they make Carson Wentz run, not try to push the ball downfield and dump it off and run the ball, I think Indianapolis Colts have a great chance to win that division because you got to think the Texans are in disarray. Tennessee, I think everybody done figured Tennessee out. Mm-hmm. And then Jacksonville. So they have a good chance of anybody winning that division.
So, as the Indianapolis Colts, is that what you going to the bank with? Carson Wentz just being a game manager?
Honestly,
and you gave him all of this money?
I mean, honestly, yeah. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at, he's not a playmaker like you think he is. And I think that if you look at a lot of quarterbacks across the league, they need to understand they are only game management. And sometimes being a game manager when you got a great defense is great because you're not turning the ball over. Just don't turn the ball
Trent
over.
Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson. Yeah. I mean, y'all not gonna like this on Against the Grain Sports, but Troy Aikman. What did you think Troy Aikman was?
Troy Aikman had weapons, man.
But that's my whole point. He never had a season where he threw for over 35 touchdowns. Once again, this is another argument with Troy Aikman. I don't think he should have been in the Hall of Fame. He only has 163 touchdown passes. He has 141 interceptions.
But I think he made it because of the team that he played for and the players that he played.
Right. Terry Bradshaw wasn't that great, but he had an outstanding defense. So you can make a living at being a game manager. You got Joe Flacco who won a Super Bowl by being a game manager.
Now you don't even hear his name no more.
I think he played for the Jets.
Now you don't even hear his name.
I think
he
was passing out snacks or something.
Now you don't even hear his name.
But that's my whole point. Like, quarterbacks got to know what their niche is. Everybody's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's not going to be Tom Brady. Everybody's not going to be Peyton Manning. So sometimes you got to understand what your game is, and you need to run with it, and you can win. That's a winning formula. Just don't turn the ball over. Sometimes you good enough to punt. Punt sometimes is the best play.
Just don't turn the ball over.
Hey, but this is Against the Grain Sports. Please leave your comment and let us know about the Carson Wentz trade. Who won that trade? Do you think that Indianapolis, Philadelphia? I guess it remains to be seen. So it's Against the Grain Sports, just the football edition. Your host, Jody Coleman.
I'm Gerard McCain.
Sports our way.